Hello, my name is Whitney Moore. I'm with Fandom Anonymous, and right now I have with me Mr. Jason Douglas. How you doing today,
Hey
sir?
man, how's it going? It's so good to see you. Glad to be with you.
Likewise, sir. We're here at Questcon Mobile 2017, and the first thing I have to say is I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. So when I heard that you was coming down, I was like, I gotta be here. Normally it's our thing, so we have to go, but I just want to let you know I'm a huge fan.
Thanks, thank you.
I watch your show every week.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend fusses at me about it, but I watch your show every week.
You mean she's not a fan? Come
No,
on.
she tolerates it with me, but she gives me my moment, but not yet. But my first question to you is, what got you into voice acting?
Well, I was a stage actor in Houston about 25 years ago, and at a certain point, a company called ADV Films started recruiting local actors, mostly who were theater actors, to come and be a part of their company of voice actors. And I was one of those. I was lucky to be one of those actors.
Okay.
And so the first show I ever did was a show called Kimaguri Orange Road, and it was an OVA, but that led to Bubblegum Crisis 2040 and Kasaraki and Generator Gall, and that was right at the beginning of the kind of the anime craze. When we started out, there was a very small audience for anime, and because of the work that those early sort of pioneers were doing in terms of distribution, it really broke it open, and we kind of those of us who were voice actors kind of rode the wave, right along with it. So
okay. So, another question I would like to ask is, I think the talent behind it is coming up with so many different voices and being able to keep that tone, that same pitch for those particular voices. How are you able to keep up with that?
I mean, I think for me, the fun of doing anime is that I get to do so many different kinds of characters that I would never actually get to play if it was a live action show.
Yeah.
So when I work on camera, there's kind of a narrow range of characters that I'm ever going to get to play.
Okay.
But when I go into the studio to do a character for an animated show or for a video game, the sky's the limit, and so it's just up to me to kind of really use my imagination to kind of find my way into a certain character, and then. And then it's just fun. It's bliss after that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Of course, you're more known for Lord Beerus than Super series, but very few people knew that you actually was King Cold in the Kai series.
Right.
How did you get approached with that?
Well, I had moved up to I had started working with Funimation probably, I want to say, about 10 years ago, and so I just sort of began this transition from working with ADV and then into working more with Funimation. And as I did that, I at a certain point started working with Chris Abbott over at his studio, and Chris handles all of the Dragon Ball stuff for Funimation, and I think he liked the way I worked, and I really, enjoyed working there with Chris and with Raleigh, his engineer, and we just kind of hit it off, and one thing led to another, and I was, when there would be something Dragon Ball related, a video game, I would be usually at least a small part of that. Okay. And then when Dragon Ball Super came along, or Battle of the Gods, I think at that point we still didn't know what Beerus was going to become, for the franchise.
Right.
And but I think I heard Chris say recently that when it comes to casting these new roles for Dragon Ball, they want to hire talented people, but they want to hire people that they're going to want to work with, for an unknown period of time, because it could be a long time. So, I'm sure that contributed to it.
When you came up with Beerus, what gave you the inspiration, or what was your goal when you first started coming up with your voice for Beerus?
Well, I found that I wanted to sort of breathe life into the character as presented. First of all, he's I think he's very well conceived as a character. In other words, he's not simply kind of an idea of a character. He's got personality, and I think Akira Toriyama had a very strong idea of the type of personality that Beerus would be. And so as a voice actor, by the time I am in the studio and I'm actually watching the visual performance of the character, that's what inspires my work. And so obviously Beerus is a cat-like being, right? So very early on we established some sort of cat-like personality quirks without being overt. I mean, you'll never hear him meow or purr like a cat, but you might hear a little of that. You might hear like a suggestion of that, sort of ironically. So we're not trying to portray him as an animal, but just as a person who happens to have just these unique traits. So every episode that I go in and voice, we watch a bit of it before we get started, and that usually gives me the idea. I mean, I already have the voice and the personality are set in a certain sense, but as long as they keep writing for the character, he has new life every time there's a new episode. So I'm just trying to do justice to what is being given to me.
Well, as a fan, I can tell you're definitely doing justice to it.
Cool.
Like I said, I
Thanks,
enjoy
man.
it. I enjoy it so much. What do you think of Mobile so far?
What a great town. I've been walking around since the day I got here. Just a beautiful old town. It's got that cool like Gulf Coast vibe, not unlike New Orleans or even Galveston. You can tell these are all cities that share some common history and some architecture. And so this is my first visit, really. I've driven through with my family, and we've done like the tour of the battleship, but this is the first time I've had a chance to like walk around downtown. And it just seems like there's a lot of nightlife. There's a lot of places to eat, and I love to eat. I'm a big, I love food, so this has been great. And I mean, it seems like when you're downtown, everything is in walking distance. You can really just like set out on foot and pass by a couple of dozen different places. So it's been fun for sure.
Cool. Well, one day you got to come down and visit for Mardi Gras.
Ah, okay.
It's very different as compared to New Orleans. It's a lot family oriented, but you would really love it down
Oh,
there.
great. Yeah, it would be fun.
Cool.
Thanks for the invitation.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr.
Absolutely,
Douglas.
man.
I really appreciate it, man.
It's been my pleasure. Good going.
I'm Whitney Moore, and we're Fandom Anonymous, and thank you so much. We're out.